Hello, dear viewers. Today we are analyzing events that took place over the past 24 hours and are already being regarded by experts as one of the key episodes of the current phase of the conflict. We are talking about the use by the Russian armed forces of a new hypersonic ballistic missile known as Oreshnik against targets on Ukrainian territory, as well as the consequences of these strikes, which extend far beyond a single night. The night before the strike began in a relatively familiar manner. Air raid alerts were occasionally heard over the radio in western regions of Ukraine, but they were no different from those of previous weeks. However, experts note that even periods of apparent calm can precede the most high-tech and strategically significant operations, especially in the context of a dynamic conflict. According to Russian military sources, active surveillance of critical infrastructure facilities in western Ukraine had been conducted several days prior to the attack. Intelligence carefully recorded the movement of equipment, increased security at a number of energy facilities and depots, as well as heightened nighttime activity. This information was used to plan a large-scale operation involving several types of weapons. On the night of January 9th, Russian forces launched a massive attack involving hundreds of unmanned aerial vehicles and dozens of missiles of various types. Among them was the hypersonic ballistic missile Oreshnik. This missile, capable of reaching speeds more than 10 times the speed of sound, is said by officials to be virtually impossible to intercept with existing air defense systems. One of the key targets of the strike was a major critical infrastructure facility in the Lviv region, an underground gas storage site and energy hub that supplies fuel and gas to a large part of western Ukraine. According to Russian sources, it was this facility that the Oreshnik missile was aimed at as part of the strike wave. The impact was detected by multiple airspace monitoring systems, after which a devastating shockwave hit the facility. Witnesses in western regions reported powerful explosions felt over considerable distances, as well as flashes and subsequent fires on the territory of the energy complex. In the first hours after the strike, Ukrainian emergency services reported disruptions in gas and electricity supplies in a number of settlements across the region. In the initial hours, the Ukrainian side stated that the strike on critical energy infrastructure constituted a gross violation of international norms and posed a direct threat to the civilian population, especially during the winter period. Officials in Kyiv emphasized that such actions significantly complicate gas supplies to western regions and endanger the stability of energy provision during the cold season. Several hours after the attack, statements followed from both the Russian and Ukrainian leadership. Moscow described the strike as a response to an alleged Ukrainian attempt to attack one of the Russian president's residences using drones, an accusation that Kyiv categorically denies, calling it unfounded. International reaction was swift. In the West, the incident is being viewed not only as another step in the escalation of hostilities, but also as a sign that the conflict is entering a new qualitative stage involving the use of medium-range ballistic weapons. Many analysts note that the use of hypersonic weapons near NATO borders raises serious concerns about regional security. Particular attention from the international community is focused on the fact that the Oreshnik missile is capable not only of carrying conventional warheads, but also theoretically nuclear ones. Although in this case it was reported that a conventional payload was used, this raises questions about the future trajectory of the conflict and the potential scale of retaliatory measures. Within Ukraine itself, the consequences of the nighttime attack are already being felt. In western regions, disruptions in gas and energy supplies have been recorded, which in winter conditions creates additional challenges for the civilian population. Local authorities have announced enhanced measures to protect key facilities, the redistribution of air defense resources, and emergency restoration of energy supplies. Military experts largely agree that the use of the Oreshnik missile against critical infrastructure targets is not an isolated action, but rather a demonstration of the capabilities of modern long-range strike weapons. This could alter the strategic balance in the conflict and serve as a pressure factor not only on Ukraine but also on its international partners. What could happen next? Analysts believe that Ukraine will be forced to further strengthen the protection of its critical infrastructure, while Western countries may need to reconsider their approaches to collective defense and energy security. At the same time, a new wave of diplomatic initiatives aimed at preventing further escalation of the conflict is also possible. In conclusion, the following can be said. The use of the Oreshnik missile in a large-scale nighttime attack on critical facilities in western Ukraine has become a notable strategic event, indicating a transition of the conflict to a new level. Russia has demonstrated its capability to strike important infrastructure targets at considerable distances, while Ukraine and its partners are facing increased challenges in protecting territory and civilian infrastructure. We will continue to monitor developments and keep you informed of the most significant changes. Thank you for your attention.